too. Well, it's time to grab everything I see. Yeah, that's exactly what I think, Antonorg. Atorg. Norg. Mr. 2! That's your new name! Mr. 2! I used a hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. You left so many things behind. A gun, a knife, all the cool stuff. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. The register was mostly empty. A fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. We're going to leave this sad place. Night continued to take a horrible turn after horrible turn. It had been weeks since I had last seen Norman, but to find him like that, who could have done that to him? Seeing that dusty box of those old clothes was a shock. How long had they been there? And what was Rachel doing at Norman's place? I felt like I'd only discovered more questions, no answers, but I was close to home. It's time to find out the truth. It was locked, but this wasn't the right gate. It was locked, but this wasn't my house. This looks like my house. Maybe. The gate was locked tight, but this wasn't my house. The neighborhood's local post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it in all the way. I know it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter? No, that's illegal. I left the letter right there where it was. The neighborhood mail wasn't my problem. I had the wrong gate. This one was locked. How do I know which one's mine? I entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. I was filled with this much apprehension about going home. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and stained. I flicked the light on by the door, but the power was off. I remember having breakfast on this very table. Was that yesterday or some time before? The door to the basement was locked. Where did I put that damned key? There's a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why didn't Rachel pick this up? But most of the contents were billed. There was a credit card bill. Did I open it? I opened my bill and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit due to non-payment. What the hell? So I went upstairs. This door was stuck. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. This guy has a big house. I had found the last missing piece from my wallet, an old photo of Rachel. I stared back at me, reminding me of a better time. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? Yes, I did. I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but then it was too late. You could have still returned it. You can always return big picture tickets like that. Oh, hey, that's a broken mirror. Our hallway mirror had been smashed to pieces, scattered around the floor. Yeah, this is totally an abuse scenario. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't got around to fixing it yet. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. Yeah, this is totally not a horrid broken home abuse scenario. My laptop has been left on. The only tiny bit of power left. My screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key on top of the drawer in my desk. Did I take it? I pocketed the key. The sound really does help the mood along. This is an amazing soundtrack for the kind of game it is. It's just subtle enough. The books were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I look more closely, it looked like the man in the house had some of the same books as I did. My wife's, Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. It was closed, but I had the feeling what was in it. Did I open it? Inside of Rachel's suitcase were a few days' worth of clothes and some personal effects and a train ticket. As I stared at the ticket, I could feel myself flush with anger and resentment. The date and time matched the receipt I had found. But that was 2 people. So... did I go through this door? Yep, this is the bathroom. The door is stuck shut, but there is an old-fashioned key hole underneath the handle. So I can't open that. Awesome. Oh man, this game is really getting to me. I really want to know what happens, but I think I know what happens. Unlock the basement door. Basement is never where happy things are. You never see a ball pit filled with trampolines in a basement. You never see that. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. These were old clothes and tools and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. Garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was an old key here. Did I take the key? I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. I think I know what it unlocked. I had put up this divider wall last summer so that we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, and the door was stuck. And the drywall was poorly installed, and I might have been able to break through if I found something heavy enough. So I'm looking for a big old hammer. Big old hammer. I think I know where I'm gonna find a big old hammer. Grab me a key I found in the basement, unlock this door. And it looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did someone break in here? There's an old crowbar on the floor. Did I need to take the crowbar? I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. From the looks of it, the crowbar had broken a few things. Yeah, this is gonna be a horrible reveal. The big old hammer will be next to the big old bear. I'm pretty sure a big old beer was the start of all these problems. Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? Yes. As I heaved and I swung the crowbar at the wall, I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall with my breath caught in my throat, what was it? Was Rachel down here? Was she okay? Don't look. More newspaper. Don't look. A filthy-looking pile of rags was dumped into the corner. The stench was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile, to even see what lay within. But I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all the searching, after all I had seen, when I looked down within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel? Yes or no? Guys, did I finally find Rachel? I think I finally found Rachel. It was worse than I could have possibly imagined. Within the folds of that rotten-smelling, heavy fabric was a pale, dead figure of my darling wife. What struck me most was that she wasn't bloody, or torn apart, rather. She was covered in sickly green bruises, and her windpipe had been crushed. The real horror was that whoever had killed her had done so intimately, with bare hands. So this was what had been gnawing at the back of my mind this whole time. This is what I was afraid of. I thought about what I had seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Reluctantly, exhausted from my journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. He gonna get busted. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe someone stole it from me. Norman's store at that Forest Water Tower. Was I at those places before? Oh my goodness! Oh wow! That's very clever storytelling. I'm gonna say no. No, there was no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember? I wasn't off in any damn forest. Maybe I could use some of Rachel's travel books and go find some place to go. There, that was decided. Oh my goodness. Within the few broken pieces of remain of the mirror, I could see my face had grown pale and weak. I couldn't bear to look again. It was like I didn't actually expect a reflection. I felt empty, drained. It was the keycard I found from the bottom of that factory locker. Did I bother to use it? Had somebody been going through those lockers and poking around the plant? Still, it didn't quite add up. Was I the one who had been going back to the factory? No. Somebody was using that locker room, but it definitely wasn't me. I had given up drinking, remember? The laptop was finally out of power. Oh, wow. Wow. This game will need some repeat plays. That's all I can say. I gotta find out what happens if I answer these questions differently. From now on, I had no one to get angry at with me for something stupid like buying this TV. Oh, wow. That statement's very powerful. This is very good writing. Excellent writing. It started off kind of, my old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in it. It used to have a digital passcode lock, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I had left it somewhere. Oh, that was probably in that special room, that room we didn't explore. Oh, it seemed like I had seen all that there was. Maybe I thought, maybe I was ready to go back into the basement. The mail still sat there a heap on the floor. How long had Rachel been lying in the basement? There was nothing for me here anymore. No reason to stay in that house. Did I leave? Never to return? No. I felt like I had to think about it a bit more. There would be no more dinners here. No more chit-chat over breakfast. At least not for us. I must have locked the door. There's no reason to turn into the backyard anyways. Time to face what you did! And now I stood there, Realized I couldn't go back into that room again. I'd already seen too much.